Good evening, everyone, and welcome out to the Epic Talk Show and bashandslash.com. My name is John, and it's been a very interesting day today. I'm going to go ahead and introduce my co-hosts. We've got Numi from eFrag as well. How's it going, Numi?
Not bad today, John. I've got a few guests with us today. Mainly, they want to introduce themselves, going down the list.
This is Garrett Jacks. I wrote Pam for COD1, which probably you guys would know better as Pro Mod because they used the Pam code to, create it. I also did COD TV for COD1, and I've done some work on UO and COD4, and I'm working on some stuff, COD TV for COD5 right now.
This is a very disappointed Jock from bashandslash.com, and we've done nothing.
I'm sorry. This is PST Joker from mycallofduty.com, which is the home of the extreme mods for the COD series.
This is Rude Dog from FPS Admin, where we support the so-called dedicated servers that no one really wants anymore.
Alright. Yeah, this is going to be an interesting cast. Go ahead and please tell your friends about the cast. You can watch us here on eFrag TV or bashandslash.com. Jock, are you streaming out to Ustream now? Jock? Anyone else hear him?
No.
Anyway, I think
They
we might have
silenced
lost
him.
Jock. I can just hear myself.
No, I'm here. I was just trying
there
to
we go.
tie the noose around my neck, but I'm fine. It's a slip knot, right? It's a slip knot.
Yeah, make
Yeah,
sure you use
still.
Cat 6 and not 5.
Yeah, we are
It's a little stronger.
we are streaming, and I think everybody in our chat room can hear you. So let's do it.
Does anyone actually want to recap on what has happened today? The awful news. Who wants to be the bearer of bad news today?
I can do that. I'll do it. Well, if anyone else hasn't heard it, today 402 announced that there will be no dedicated servers for MW2, basically meaning no one can play the game as we've been used to in the competitive community. Slightly more disappointing with the mod tools as well. No confirmation on any mod tools. We have to do it all ourselves by private servers, as done on the Xbox. Basically spurring the end for competitive Call of Duty.
Yeah, does anyone have anything to add to that?
Sure, we have prestige
Well,
mode.
the end of clans, the end of... Oh, yeah, we got night vision goggles.
Oh, we do. All is well.
And you have to pay extra for those, isn't it? Isn't it like $200 for that prestige set or whatever they have?
Yeah, and you have to bring your own KY.
Jock, what was it that you were saying?
Oh, I was just saying that we have prestige, and the game will be on
Oh
time.
yeah, and the game's not going to be delayed. That's right. Anyway,
I'm gonna buy.
Anyway, let's go ahead and get into this, I guess. If you guys want to go ahead and get your questions in, you can text us. The number is 762-23-EFRAG. You can also hit us up on IRC, either bash and slash, pound bash and slash, or pound eFrag TV on the IRC.GameSurge, or the GameSurge network.
I'll tell you what.
Can also, the phone lines will be open up later at the same line, or the same phone number.
I'll tell you
So
what,
if you're
John. I
in
mean,
North America, you can call it.
John.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I'm going to monitor my chat room. If there are questions in there, I'll try to pass them on to you.
So I guess in the we could kind of recap this. Since we don't have dedicated servers, what exactly do we have? Joker, you want to go over this? Or Garrett Jacks?
I guess the answer is we don't even know. I mean, he said that IWNet will host the public servers, so it sounds like you join through Steam, kind of like Left 4 Dead, and you'll get a public server from them. But if you want to do a private server, a private password, and tweak it the way you want, and turn off different CVARs or DVARs or whatever you want to call it, you're hosting it yourself on a listen server on your home connection. So, I mean that just competitively that sucks because the guy that's hosting it is going to have a huge advantage.
Mm-hmm. And that's not even allowed in CEVO. So from a competitive point of view, that's not allowed. You cannot do that. So we have the peer-to-peer network.
That's not been allowed in really any. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you were talking. Go ahead.
Yeah, most games, old school Cal rules were like if there's a ping differential between the teams of like 30 milliseconds or more, that's it. You got to go to a neutral server. But how can you go to a neutral server when one guy is hosting it is always going to have 0 ping?
Yeah.
I'm going to be hosting a lot
Unless
of
we
games.
had like a SIVO admin.
I was saying I was going to I'm going to start hosting a lot of games.
Jock, it's good.
Yeah, if you see my kill death ratio or death kill ratio, or frag kill or whatever the hell it is, ratio go up, it's because I'm hosting them all.
Oh, so that's what it is.
So
Basically-
does everybody in the community here understand the implications of it? I guess that's really what we're doing here, and I guess the idea, John, of hosting this is to sort of figure out what are we going to do next. Is that an intermediate or a medium term goal that we should have?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of talked about this earlier in the eFrag cast that went on for a couple of hours, but I mean, everyone right now is just kind of discussing it. What do we do now? And Counter-Strike has been thrown up. Going back to CoD 2 has been thrown up. Like I said, we've been talking about this. So I mean, what's your input? Talking to the community here, I mean, what are our options?
I only think we have a couple of options, and that's dive back into the older games and keep them alive for as long as we can. And then the only other option I can think of, and that has been brought to me anyways, is start looking for another game.
I mean, we've got Flashpoint, but the reviews on that has been terrible.
And once again, there's no Dedi server files for them either.
Mm-hmm.
Not yet, though.
It's hard to
other
say.
thing
Like I
that
said,
you
I'm.
Go ahead, Garrett.
Well, I was going to say, I know for the eFrag guys, but we were talking before, I've been testing and working with Treyarch, and they've been, absolutely amazing. When the COD TV code wasn't... I found some bugs in it in the 1.5 patch. I mean, within hours, they emailed me back. They had an engineer working on it. He verified there was a problem, and then, the next day, they had a fix. They were able to stop what was in QA and get it in the 1.6 patch. So, I mean, they are working to make things better, which is really nice to see.
We've got people talking about
Funny thing
Battlefield
was
games
that-
as well. Go ahead, Ray Dogs. I'm sorry. Bloody vent delay.
No, that's okay. The other thing that I was joking with some of the community managers for EA and the Medal of Honor series, and granted, there's some bad flashbacks from that, but you never know. This could be the opportunity that they need to bring back the Medal of Honor series, to win back the hearts and minds and try to do it right this time. And there are several things that are coming out from the Medal of Honor series that I think is going to surprise everyone. However, I think it's still a year away, and I was joking with them that they should kind of rush development and get it pushed out by November 9th.
You guys do know that it wasn't Goose, it's the other guy that made Counter-Strike is coming out with his own new game, which is sort of like Counter-Strike. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I did. I
have not.
Was it on Kotaku, I think? Garrett Jackson?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I saw. I can't remember what I did with that link, but I have seen it.
I can probably grab it. I mean, basically, it's like Counter-Strike, but supposedly better. And he's trying to develop it. He couldn't get anywhere, and then some Japanese company threw a ton of money and supported him. So I don't know how far away. It looked pretty well done, though.
The graphics are still pretty bad, though, right?
He's using Source Engine.
Yeah, but the graphics are still bad. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but
John,
we
did
don't
I
care
did
about
I
graphics.
did I did I show you that?
Gameplay.
Oh, there's the link.
To the top.
There's the link. Kotaku.com. Relics has got it in my chat room. I don't know how to get it to you here.
Okay, so Jock, as far as we're looking at alternatives to playing MW2, is there a possibility that the community could come together and I've seen quite a few petitions around and loads of people trying to do different things, lots of Xfire links, people's Xfires, linked petitions, sign up to this, do this, don't buy the game. What do you make of all this reaction from the community, and can they actually do something?
If that was addressed to me, it was. I've always thought petitions to be just that. They're a bit wimpy. I think the only thing that these very mega companies like Activision will understand is the dollars and cents. If you don't buy the game, then they'll say to themselves, "Hey, we did something wrong, and we'll do something else next time." right now they're committed to this. They want to see if they can make this thing work. If you listen, I re-edited the cast and I put in pretty much just what Rob said, and I have to admit, the second time I heard it, I heard more in there than being there and being shocked. So if you've only heard it once, I certainly would suggest downloading it. Listen to what he's saying. If you listen, he's saying he wants to see if this is going to work. They're all kind of, I think, hoping that it will. If it does, then I would suspect, and I'd like to ask Rude Dog and the rest of the guys this, I would suspect that if this works, if they don't see that much of a dollar value drop off here in sales, etc., you'll see this for the next game, whoever produces, whoever develops it, whether it's Treyarch or IW again. If they see that the PC community just walks away, I think they'll see that this is just a failure, and they might, they might do something else. But they really see this thing working, and I was telling this to John earlier. I think they're almost ready and prepared to see a generation of PC guys moving on, because I think they see this as the future. And what happens to us, it's sad, but if we don't change, we may not get on the bus.
But is that something that they're just looking to create an easy way out for Modern Warfare 3, where it's console only? And this is just a way to push out the PC development, which is basically a thorn in their side, and it's extra money for an anti-cheat license and for Ryan Incubus to work on Linux dedicated server files, and then all the basically complaining that we can do. To me, it just seems like it's an excuse for them for a nice exit and say, see, you guys didn't want to support our change, so we're not going to do it. We're not going to support you anymore.
They've taken everything from the community that they can possibly take. So I think you're right, Rude Doug. They've got nothing else. We're no more use to them, possibly.
Or they think that. They've taken from you. They've taken from me. I mean, I don't know.
Well, they could also be going with blinders on. They think that this is right, and that's their right. They're their own bosses. Technically, until they see the decrease in pre-orders or the pre-order cancellation skyrocket overnight, then they can probably say, hey, maybe we hit a nerve and maybe we were wrong. Unfortunately, once this game ships on the 10th, if they've re-engineered the back end specifically for this new type of setup, then it's going to take them, if at all, a mighty long time to try to put it back in.
Yeah. I want to go ahead, while we have a break in the chat, I want to go ahead and introduce Matt from XPL, and I also want to introduce Alex. He's a competitive player from across the pond over in the UK. Welcome, you two.
Thank you very much.
If you guys have your questions, feel free to hit us up on IRC, either #/ or #defragtv on the irc.gamesearch.net network. You can also text or call the number 762-23-EFRAG. We'll try to get that on air. But so one of the things that people are throwing around, this is kind of a question towards Joker, is actually Snatch came up to me about this. Is there a way, if Modern Warfare 2 is going to be a flop, which is what it looks like it's going to be, is there a way to mod like some of the maps from Modern Mod 2 and World at War into COD 4? Make it playable? So it's something new to spice it up?
Without having the map source files, then no. It's not possible. The best that we could hope for is that we get a couple of mappers that are willing to recreate them for COD 4.
Can I think on that same line of thinking give the modders several months after Modern Warfare 2 is released, and we.
Yeah, you just broke up there.
I'm sorry. If we give, on the same line of thought as trying to take some of the assets from Modern Warfare 2 to recreate them for Modern Warfare or COD 4, then I think give the modders like Joker and the other community members a couple months, and we'll start to see a lot of those other features in COD 4.
Oh, sure, without a doubt. I mean, most of COD 4 is in MW2 anyway, so we can definitely take what they've got and put it back, including some of their assets. I've been with some of the guys I know around the community. We've been very successful in stripping out a lot of different assets from other games, Crisis, and just to name one, and actually use them in COD 4 and World at War.
You just got to be careful the legalities behind that. Taking ideas and concepts and then recoding them is probably a better way to go for COD 4.
Well, I'm an asset. Oh, go ahead.
No, I have a feeling that that might upset IW. Not that they deserve it, but that might push them over the edge to crack down on people trying to recreate Modern Warfare 2 without actually purchasing it.
I mean that's all right. I've got no problem with that. Half my family's attorneys.
An eye for an eye.
John, did you talk to when you had the previous cast? Did you talk about the ability, or did you talk about the gamer the community of competitive gamers even giving Modern Warfare 2 a chance? Is that even on the table at the moment?
Snatch thinks it is, but everyone else in the IRC was like, it's impossible because the way, peer-to-peer works is whoever hosts it has such an amazing advantage, it's not even funny. And if we were to require a SIVO admin or someone else to try to host it, you know how many SIVO admins we would have to have for SIVO O?
A stupid question, because I'm just throwing this out here, but we have anti-lag in the game. How does that work with... with the situation? I mean, how would it work? I mean, you're thinking of doing a listen server, on Counter-Strike, or were you thinking listen server? Did you take that example from Call of Duty?
Call of Duty.
Okay, so in that case, the anti-lag does squat then. Yeah,
because whoever's hosting is going to have a zero ping anyway.
Yeah, but doesn't the
enough as it would need to do.
Yeah, but my experience with anti-lag is that if I'm 30 millisecond ping and somebody's playing at 130, it's half the time I'm the one who gets shot first. But maybe that's just my capabilities.
Yeah.
Well, either way, it's gonna.
Yeah, the anti-lag would. Like Starbuck was saying earlier, if he's got players on his team from way across the other side of America, so. While he could have 0 ping, his teammate could have 180, and there's no evening that out. It's impossible to have even competitive gameplay with listening servers.
Now, Joker had an interesting thought regarding how you can sort of trick out a listen server to make it look like one of our dedicated servers. I don't know if that would help on the competitive play. I don't know, Joker, if you want to get
If that does pan out, that could very well, keep the competitive play, in the running. It could. It would mean more expense, but, it could.
This is the first I've heard of this. What exactly does this do?
Joker, did you hear that?
I think he was assuming that you would co-locate instead of having a listen server in your house, you'd stick a co-located server in a server.
Yes, exactly.
Except you need a graphics card.
But it's going to need a graphics card.
Yeah, that's exactly the point I was going to make. And no one, SIVO, I don't think anyone would pay for a graphics card to do that. And you can't control that either. You wouldn't be able to do RDP or anything like that, because as soon as the game loads up, your RDP is going to completely freeze out.
Unless you're allowed to run it in a window. That's the closest thing that they could throw us a bone and allow us to do.
Well, this is a question that I asked point blank to Rob, because I knew you guys would be asking this. And the question was, can we go in and get the engineers? Well, actually, that's how he answered. I asked, can they do anything for us to help the competitive gaming guys? And he said, well, it's a question he'd have to ask his engineers. The only thing I can hold out hope for, other than what Joker said, is to petition IW to do something like this. I don't know if they could provide the servers themselves. I don't know how they would do it, but they'd have to provide us not only with some sort of a dedicated server for the competitive side of things. They would also have to modify perhaps their their game mode so that everybody would have the same unified rule set, if you know where I'm getting at. That actually could be a great boost to this community. It could be a great boost, and but if they do it for us, they'd have to do it for everybody, every community, and that's where it all kind of falls apart.
And again, if you look at where they're going and why they're doing it, they're looking at the average customer off the street. They just want the easy experience. I don't think anyone that's running a dedicated server or playing this game at a competitive level fits their model and their ideal customer that they want to sell to, unfortunately. Well, that's what they've led us to believe so far by today's conversation with Rob.
Yep. I mean, I'm just shocked. I know, like Joker, Rude. I mean, for Modern Warfare 1. I mean, we were there like in June with time to change things, and they asked us our opinion. Nothing this time, nothing at all. They know best, and it's just kind of a shock.
I have a post here from Forsaken. Infinity Ward is sending the impression to the PC community that we are not supposed to change the game they created for competitive purposes, raping our creativity. By eliminating the ability to mod and have dedicated servers, this is unacceptable. We have based competition off of people playing fairly. We cannot eliminate the use of ice picks, self-nicks, and riot shields and stuff. Wouldn't work. Weapons, maps, lag switch wise, there are too many people who would be tempted. MW2 is not a competitive PC game. Final story. It was made to appease the console community, and they would not change it to impress the 2% of the consumers. Money they give by any means. Game over.
Exactly. Unfortunately, IW has it in their mind what they want, and this is the way. Again, this is one step closer of pushing the PC community out, that they don't have to develop anymore for us by using this as an excuse to say, hey, listen, no one bought the last game, so we're not going to bother this time. And basically, it'll be really interesting to see what happens once this game ships, how it sells on the PC, whatever's left of the community, and how they complain to IW, and if at all, what IW does.
I mentioned
we do have a text message here from Starbuck. He asks if there's any way to get a hold of the development team directly and get answers directly from them. Does anyone have any inside contacts?
Yeah, well, getting a hold of the development team is something I've been trying to do for the last month or two, and then they virtually don't know squat.
They're too busy.
Or they're too afraid to say anything.
No, Rude Dog.
True.
They're too busy shining their Corvettes.
or wakeboarding or sending them DMV.
We can try Jason again, but last time Rude, I emailed him. I haven't heard from him.
Right, and if right now our point of contact is either Activision PR or Rob. Everything should go to them. That's the chain of command for us trying to get in there. No one's going to go on the record and talk to us or listen to us without going through those guys. Right now, Jason West is probably so overwhelmed with just getting this game out from a larger, from higher up to can't even be bothered, unfortunately.
Omega says, bring back Grant Collier. We can get him on here drunk.
I like Grant.
So, I've had a few people ask me today. I mean, you guys, I know you guys confirmed this during the cast, but we just want to make sure that actually was 402. So, I mean, are we absolutely positive on that?
Oh, definitely.
Yes. Oh, yeah. You can't miss his voice.
I do a great imitation. I do a great imitation, and I'll tell you. Actually, Joker, you checked out. We were obviously skeptical. You checked out his IP, right?
Forgive me, guys. I've got a little bit of lag from what you guys say. I hear it like 5-10 seconds later, so I apologize stepping on toes or not answering a question right away. But Jock, yes, when 402 came in, since I was channel admin, I ran his IP. That 402 in the chat room was in Amsterdam, and then wouldn't you know it, Skype was ringing and we were getting him on. So it was him.
And I've spoken with him personally at IW events, so it was him.
And the other
same demeanor, same voice.
Yeah,
without a doubt.
And Rude, we've had we had some leaks, I think, from Activision and from IW that kind of suggested to us that this was going to happen, right?
For the most part.
Yeah.
Not because it was funny. I had sent out a message that you had kind of opened the show with to some of the game server providers a couple days prior to this, based on some information, gut feeling, and past history with dealing with marketing, PR, and the community manager. And unfortunately, my worst nightmares came true. So yeah, we kind of knew something was up. Really couldn't put a exact. Really couldn't say exactly what it was, but we kind of knew what it was, or knew what was going on.
I kind of felt bad for him because I think he knew what he was stepping into. I mean, we were fairly professional with him and stuff like that because we were just so freaked out. But we didn't have time to start swearing. I think Josh from Planet Medal of Honor.com, I think actually probably was a little bit tougher on him and I think a bit more emotional. But he did have a lot of balls doing this. I mean, I don't know if I could have done the same thing with knowing that you were going to just get squashed. I mean, I just don't want to see his inbox tomorrow.
Yeah, kudos to Rob for 02. He like Jock said, he had a lot of guts coming in there. Unfortunately, I don't think any of us liked what he had to say, but we do have a lot of respect for him stepping in and finally talking to us. And I think that's the big thing. You let us know what's going on. This would have been probably a little easier to swallow if it was told to us about a month ago, 2 months ago, and not at the last minute. And I think that was probably something that they planned. They wanted to wait to the last minute until they were up against the wall before they had to say anything, so that it would minimize the number of people and the word of mouth that could get out to cancel those pre-orders. So again, he was in a tough situation. He really appreciate that he did come on and finally tell us before we all bought the game, and really were upset. I think the community would be up in arms, especially after investing a lot of money in something that didn't pan out or didn't meet our expectations.
And the other point that I want to I think emphasize to everybody here. I mean, what happens? I think with IW's MW2, I think that our friends at Treyarch are definitely watching, and they're definitely they're going to look at this very, very carefully, and I'm wondering whether this is going to set a tempo for future Activision games, and maybe for the future, all future games, to be quite honest with you, because if this works, I think they have a template now for what to do with the PC guys, because let's face it, Activision and Bobby Kotick or whatever has probably been drooling to try to figure out how to rein us in for a very long time, and maximize profits. That's what the guy said, and this is part of it.
Well, we have someone.
I'll definitely try and see.
Go ahead.
I was going to say I'm going to talk to them on Monday because I'm doing more testing, and I'll see if I can, or even on anything that they'll let me say out of the Treyarch guys. I mean, it'll be really interesting.
I'm talking
especially if they see all this feed.
Yeah, I've been talking to him too, Garrett Jackson.
Before we get too far away from this, Optimus Prime on the Ustream chat, he says it didn't take balls. He could care less about all of us. I mean, it's taken him this long to actually give us this news. I mean, back in September, he said the game was going to be the exact same when it comes to multiplayer. Why the big change, and why did it take him so long to actually tell us? Yeah,
he mentioned that actually. He actually said that it was his. I just don't think he knew or understood why the game is different, or why we consider the game to be different. He was thinking about the game. We are going to get the same game. He doesn't know that we play modded servers. Honestly, I don't think that many people there do know that. He actually said,
I don't think they understand it.
Oh, I definitely know that they don't understand it.
Because he's like, oh, well, you're going to be able to mod. I mean, you're going to be able to, you'll have all these things to turn off. But they've said that. They said that about Modern Warfare, but it still had to be modded.
Yeah, but you remember him saying, though, during the cast, he said, look, I don't know whether, I think it was Jason West, told some magazine, I can't remember where, that, we were going to have this matchmaking business. And then he goes and turns around later and says, no, the game will be identical on PC, or the same for PC won't change, or something like that. And he says, yeah, I go back on that. That's not what I meant. I screwed up, basically.
And also note that when I was out at the IW Xbox event in LA last month, Jason West told me that dedicated server files and all that stuff was going to be there, just not out of the box. So I don't know if he was saving face. He did not, he just wanted to kind of feed me whatever he could feed me to get me, get his 3.5 minutes with me done, so he can move on and talk to, the big boys and the console rags. But he told me that there was going to be servers, and we'd see the mod tools, and he seemed to go on about customizing and wanted the community to flourish and longevity. And now we have this news, which is a complete opposite to that.
I still don't know. I mean, I don't know what you guys think. I mean, running their own massive worldwide global support pub servers, what are they getting out of it? I mean, they could run ads in it, they could get a little money there, but unless they're going to start making us pay for it, I don't see.
Pay for DLC?
Right, but we are paying for it. We're paying $10 more.
Well, for the initial game, but when they come out with a Map Pack 1, I think we're going to have to pay another $10. And a Map Pack 2, we're going to have to pay another $10.
But if you don't pay it, does that mean you can't use the servers anymore, or you just can't use servers that are run at DLC?
That's what I think, yeah. I think that's the same way it is on Xbox Live and PS3.
That's an interesting question. Maybe, we buy the game, we get to use it until the first DLC comes out. If we don't upgrade to the first DLC, then basically we're out of luck. Again, I'm just speculating.
I mean, does anyone, sorry, just to throw this in there, does anyone actually understand or has any explanation as to why they think we might be paying this extra $10? Because normally, it's the other way around. The console people normally have to pay additional cost.
Because they can, and if we start paying, we will continue paying. We're used to not paying, so they're, like I said, I think that they're willing to, and they're going to risk losing the guys playing now for the guys that will be playing. And I mean, the console guys pay, and they're glad to pay. They fall over themselves paying, and
they have no choice. In the console's eyes, paying $10 for those 3 extra maps, that's like a brand new game. They get to play another 2 or 3 months until the next set of maps come out that they can pay another $10 versus the $60 that they paid for the initial game. They don't have a choice. They don't have the community supporting them and creating new content to extend the longevity of that game.
Robert Bowling had done an interview, and I can't remember where it was at, where the person that was interviewing it asked him if IW or Activision was concerned about raising the price an extra $10, and his answer was pretty plain and simple, and I don't remember it verbatim, but it was basically no, people will pay it.
They just cranked the game's price up, and people will pay it. Again, we're just sucking this stuff up, and of course we're going to pay it, right? So nobody really blinked. Nobody really said, no, we're gonna launch a server strike, or we're gonna do that. No, they just said, okay, well, it went up another $10 or whatever. Okay, sure.
Surely then business logic would dictate that it would have been more sensible upping the price of console by $1 or $2 due to sales per unit. The money they'd receive from that would be far greater than that from $10 from PC users.
Well, let me just throw this one in as well. I mean, if really what we're asking roundabout way is, why are they doing this? And let me throw in, it's not just the cost of DLC that they're going to be gaining. They might also be gaining sales from people who are not pirating the game. Although that wasn't one of the only reasons they went in this direction. I thought it was the only reason, but Rob today said it was not. And I respect him for saying that. I think the other reasons, he didn't say these, but I think another reason is that they keep sort of an artistic lock on this game. I'm not sure if they were totally comfortable watching their game, like CoD 4 being turned into a Star Wars mod. I don't know if that's really what they wanted to see. And this way they get to keep a real nice eye on it, and it doesn't go out there and get converted into something else.
But that's just dumb. I mean, Counter-Strike was a mod that 2 guys popped out, and Valve bought it. I mean, you're basically letting all these resources create things, and if they're good, you can tap those resources. So I mean, it's like their own lab out there.
But you need to also realize that Valve had had a couple games or developing a couple other games. Infinity Ward only has the Call of Duty series. They have never done anything but Call of Duty. So, like Jock said, this could be a way of them keeping it a little closer to the chest and controlling it a little bit more. You know, they've moved to the Modern Warfare name, kind of really putting down the Call of Duty name. You don't really hear them talk about it that much, and there was the whole controversy back and forth, and that was something that I asked Rob about. But this is the only game that they make. You know, they have Treyarch, against everything that they believe in, working on their games, and we know that they don't get along with each other. So, like, I think Jock might have hit it, that they're looking to try to control this completely, and mapping and modding just kind of dilutes their vision.
Well, it puts the focus on someone else.
I mean, they didn't try and make maps out of, ordinary. Most of them were made for, the mods specifically were made for competitive match. I mean, you take Pro Mod or any of those other mods, they made a few minor tweaks to make it their own type of mod, but it still kept the same concept of the game. All they did was limited maybe a few weapons to make it competitive.
Well, we actually have a text here. Let's see. This is from Orange, New Jersey. Gunsway was broken in Call of Duty 4 on the PC to the point of needing to be removed. I doubt they will let us change something as basic as that with their new system. That was from Syntax.
Can I give you a couple of forum, or actually these are IMs to me actually.
Yeah, go ahead.
This one's from COD Jumper. Who's very famous in our community. Worth pointing out that IW get nothing from niche communities and competitive communities. They get nothing from people playing at all. If they wipe out the established communities, they get a blank canvas, and that's kind of sort of what we were talking about. Grip is saying, he was asking whether or not this is a big PR stunt, and I don't think this is a PR stunt.
Yeah,
that was next on my list.
They spend, this is kid stuff, they spend... last year, I think it was $250 million on marketing. They don't need to do this as a PR stunt.
CyberGS.
I mean, think about it. When the game costs $30 million to develop, and they spend $200 million, not just on that's Activision total. It's just amazing.
I don't really understand why it cost them that much.
$30 million to develop?
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Maybe because they have 15 executive producers and 25, sub-executive producer.
Yeah, 2-year dev cycle. They, 100 artists. I don't know. It's possible. Think of all the salaries.
Exactly, which is a little ridiculous, but that's just me.
Yeah, I was talking about this earlier. We've got there's a post up on IW's forums that's petitioning the dedicated servers and stuff, and currently we have 805, and if every single one of those it cancels their pre-order or doesn't buy. I mean, that's 48,000 that they're out of. I mean, that's not even scratching the surface of what they're going to make with the consoles and stuff.
But going back to way back to when they did that server strike for Call of Duty 2, that actually did. I mean, they met. I mean, Grant and everyone was meeting about it because of the bad PR, and because it got out to like the regular real media that the first server strike ever about against a game, it didn't really get out there, but it was getting picked up by the media, and that made the move.
That was picked up by MTV, the MTV gaming channel there at the time when they were first coming about.
Hey guys, I'm terribly sorry. I got to cut out the lag from. I got something wrong with the computer. The lag for me is just nuts. I'm getting you guys 30 and 45 seconds later, so I'm going to reboot and see if I can fix it and come back.
All right.
And
actually, on that note, should we try calling IW? See if they respond.
Sure. While you're doing
right now.
Yeah. Hang on 1 second.
Yeah, I gave him the number. One last thing. CyberGSX.
Thank you for calling in. It's extension of the person you are wanting to reach. You may dial it at any time. If you'd like to leave a message in our general delivery mailbox, please stay on the line or press 0 to speak with the next available representative. Thank you for calling Infinity Ward. Please leave your name, number, and a brief message.
Ask him
One
if
of
he
our
has Prince Albert in a
representatives
can.
from our office will call you as soon as possible.
I guess not.
Thank you for calling Infinity Ward.
Record your message at the tone. When you are finished, hang up or hold for more options.
pull my finger.
Hi, this is John Oliver from eFrag Television. We have Jock Yitch on from Bash and Slash.
Oh, that's
we would like to get a representative on from IW to talk about the lack of dedicated servers for the PC platform release in a couple weeks. If you could please give us a call back, the number is 762-233-3724. Thank you very much. Worth a shot.
It is Saturday, so they,
Yeah, well,
console
eventually
side
they'll
of
call
it's
us back,
done, so,
hopefully.
yeah.
You know, it wouldn't be a bad idea to call Treyarch and see, what their ideas are and their comment is to all of this.
That would be interesting.
Like I said, I'll talk to them Monday because I'm talking.
$10, they're laughing. And they're in a really interesting position. They're in a really great position because they can sort of witness IW either hang themselves or set out and blaze a brand new trail, and they can follow along. So either way, they're kind of all the risk is Infinity Ward's, in my opinion.
I know for many people, as far as Call of Duty 4 community goes, they weren't very high on Call of Duty World at War. And, this might, open their eyes up a little bit and say, hey, maybe we can give Treyarch a chance now because Infinity War is out of the picture.
If only we had CoD TV for World at War. If only.
I agree.
You mean I should be coding right now?
Garrett Jax, would you like to explain?
I've been distracted all day.
Garrett Jax, would you like to explain where you are with CoD TV?
I tested with Treyarch QA on Friday, and everybody tested well. I just have some UI crap. Basically, the stuff I need to work on is to make it the ease of use as easy as possible, and
to make it look sexy.
Play with a few buttons and things. Yeah, and I'm supposed to be coding that right now, and have it ready to be tested on Monday with them again. And assuming that's all there, all the hard part is the networking. It's smooth. They all joined. Their clocks were all in sync. So, like, if with a 2-minute or 1-minute delay, and they're all at the same. So that's all good. So the hard part is over. Now it's just little stuff that and it theoretically could be easily applied.
It could be easily what, Garrett Jax?
If IW put in the same code that Treyarch did,
it could be easily done. Do you really think that Treyarch and IW are actually going to talk to each other?
I doubt it.
It's a one-way valve. Again, pardon the pun.
Because Treyarch could, if IW, because the code was in the COD 1.5 patch, so if that was given to Treyarch, or if IW had used it itself on Modern Warfare, it would have been in there, but they never did.
All right. I actually have a few texts. Hang on one second. We have one from Point 5 from Loaded. Is there any chance that COD4 could continue on and be as successful as Counter-Strike Source in 1.6 and maybe Return of Call of Duty 1 2? This is out to the competitive guys, so sit on that for a few minutes and feel free to hit me up on IRC. Yeah, go ahead, Root Dog. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No problem. I just think two things here. All the people, I think people were canceling Modern Warfare 2. I think now you're going to start to see a lot more of those guys going back to either COD 4 or World at War. So we should start to. I know the GSPs now are scrambling because they've pre-sold or pre-rented a lot of the.
Your mic keeps cutting out.
I'm sorry. I think right now what we'll do is we're going to see a lot of the people that have dropped servers to save some money and pre-order Modern Warfare 2 servers. They're going to probably drop back, and we're going to start to see an increase in Call of Duty 4 and Call of Duty World at War servers. GSPs who have pre-sold they've pre-rented their Modern Warfare 2 servers are now scrambling to figure out what the hell they're going to do. Several of them have pulled and started refunding money. Others have told their customers that they're going to hold tight and wait it out, and then we'll refund the money. So hopefully we'll start to see a resurgence in COD 4 servers. mappers and modders that were kind of, got a little burnt out, they're probably going to go back, and I think we're going to see an inrush, and hopefully that's a big plus for the competitive circuit and just the regular pubbers.
Can I ask you a question? Somebody originally, maybe about 5 or 6 minutes ago, talked about how many pre-orders were lost. Who was that? I'm just trying to remember. And what was the figure?
I'm not sure how many we lost on our end during the cast, but it was at least 70 people or so that said that they weren't going to buy the game or had already canceled their pre-orders. I don't know. Someone else was talking about it as well. I can't remember who it was, though.
I had made a comment in regards to I would really like to be a fly on the wall with Amazon and some of the other pre-orders to see what those numbers are, and if Monday's going to come around and Jason West is going to look at a spreadsheet and say what the hell happened over the weekend.
Jim, I have an anonymous IM. Somebody's saying that 2,000 pre-orders were canceled on Amazon.com so far.
That would be awesome.
Somebody quickly multiply.
If we go by the Infinity Ward forums, there's now up to 822 posts, and only about 5 of those I've seen have nothing to do with the PC. They just are just regular comments.
A lot of them raging at us. It's like it's really funny because one of the comments was, if Xbox doesn't get dedicated servers, then why should the PC? I'm sorry, we were here first. GTFO.
Well, I don't know if
I think I've seen that one as well. That was pretty funny.
I don't know if that's the answer. I don't know if that's the answer that I would have given. I think that we need dedicated servers for other reasons that are probably a little bit more pragmatic. And I mentioned this in my cast. I said that PC gamers and PC gaming had I thought a special relationship. I mean, the game itself is made on a PC, and because of that, having a dedicated server is almost as close as you can to that sort of those sort of roots, and because of that, I thought we should have had a special relationship, and we should have the dedicated server so that we can mod, so we can play maybe a little bit better, et cetera, et cetera. I think just saying that we're great and you guys suck is the obvious answer. But if we dig deep, there are tons of reasons why we should have dedicated servers. We would not have a flyable AC-130 in the game if we didn't have dedicated servers.
Unfortunately, I think many of these people fading out of PC tend to forget that all they had to game on back in the day was PC. And because PS3 and Xbox came out, it shouldn't give them the right to just give out on all of the PC users, but unfortunately that seems to be the new trend.
Well, that's business at the end of the day. Can't argue with that.
And then they'll be in the same boat as we are when everyone moves to iPhone development and drops consoles.
Hey.
I have another thing. I have
developed for consoles.
Text. We have a text from Snatch here. He's from California. He's on Team Pandemic. He says, "Don't worry about it. IW's been taking a huge publicity hit on Twitter. So I don't know if you guys have been following that at all."
Yeah, I think I've been causing it.
Yeah, it's all your fault, Jock.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Nah, don't be.
I mean, you know what it is? I on the earlier chat, I was trying to make a comparison of the console is like your stock sports car, and you get in it and they drive it, and it's really easy, and that's it. But us PC gamers, we tweak the settings on our computers. We tweak everything, our configs, to make us play better. And it's like the guys that tweak their sports cars. But when they do all that, they also improve stuff that then the automakers throw into their cars. So it's like you're helping them in the end. We're feeding them the game DNA, and just to cut us out of it is stupid.
You could think of us as NASCAR. NASCAR feeds the development for your everyday automobile. PC market, as we've seen with them taking ideas from the modding community and taking actual modders to work for them. We're the NASCAR of the gaming industry.
NASCAR? We're the Formula One of the gaming industry.
Okay, I'm
NASCAR.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, you're right. Because we push the need. There's no need for these, NVIDIA or ATI cards. I mean, other than games, and I mean, we push their development, and it used to make consoles should be like the Babe Ruth League of gaming, and that's great for kids. But when they want to move up to the big leagues, they move up to PCs. And then they spend the money on the better, and that's why Intel and AMD and Nvidia used to sponsor all the big LANs because they wanted to sell video cards. And I don't know why that's kind of disappeared or what's going on there, but that's the way it should be.
That's the next thing. I think we're going to, with the PC community getting pushed aside, the Intel, AMD, Nvidia, Microsoft. I'm a Microsoft MVP for games for Windows. We've had two really wonderful meetings this year, and it's been a joke. The only thing that Microsoft sees is, let's push the sale of Windows 7. Let's have an advertisement with some gaming in it so we can push Windows 7. They don't back Windows 7. They don't back their own gaming platform. All these hardware developers are really going to take a hit if the PC community is moved on. They have an obligation, I feel, to push these developers to spend some seed money with them and say, hey, listen, we need some more PC-specific games and ASAP.
Could I just put out just completely putting it out on the cards here? Looking at the trend, is it the developers themselves, i.e. Infinity Ward and Treyarch, who are to blame, or could this blame then be put onto Activision and swaying them to do certain things this way? Because I mean, you look at the step from Infinity Ward's COD 4 to COD 5, it was absolutely dire, and it was quite clearly based towards the console. And now this matchmaking crap that's come over from console to now come onto PC, is this influenced a lot by Activision, or is it down to the developers themselves?
I think it's probably a combination of both. In the past, I could say Activision probably had a strong sense, or they guided IW, but I think IW now has grown into a powerhouse, and they said, leave us alone, we know what we're doing, and we'll make you a lot of money. So I think it's probably 80% IW's doing and maybe 20% Activision. That's my personal. With Treyarch, it's probably a little bit different. Treyarch is it's probably they're gaining a little bit more respect from Activision, but I think Activision probably pushes Treyarch around a little bit more right now than they do IW. IW probably fends for themselves and can escape the reach of Activision for the time being. And that's just my personal opinion.
IW's gone on record to state that they've wanted to make, for console.
Right, but they've also gone on record to say that they wanted to be a modern game back in COD 2, but Activision wanted them to continue with the World War II genre, and back then they were still making a name for themselves.
Yeah, well, they've definitely done that this time, haven't they?
I got a question from Hyper or Precision. He's saying, what do people think of doing a Season 1 COD 5 because it's been updated with the new maps, sound issues are fixed, and it has record and stuff like that. Yeah, he wants to ask what people would make of it. It would definitely piss IW off quite a lot, which would be one reason for it, but what do people make of that?
Garrett Jackson needs to finish COD TV.
All right. I think that we possibly may see. I know Treyarch really wants to support it. I wouldn't be surprised if we see some kind of money tournaments come out with their support. We'll just throw that out there. So we'll see what happens. Maybe I can get somebody to say something. But they definitely want to support PC gaming. I mean, they are definitely behind.
Well, then, I mean, if they really want to screw over IW, then they need to completely fix the sound. I mean, I know they've said time and time again that they're not going to be able to fix it. And that's a huge fix on their end. But if they fix it and it's 200 times better than Mod 2, then you'll find that pro gamers end up going out and buying the game that they never bought before, and that's just going to shoot their sales up quite a bit. At least I know in the competitive side of things. And IW's going to be like, oh, crap.
That's
John,
why
when you say...
sorry.
No, go ahead, Al. Go ahead, Agnes.
No, I was just going to say, that's why I think the whole COD 4, revive will struggle immensely within the EU scene, especially. I mean, it's... I-37, for example, which is, unless you all know, a UK LAN, literally a lot of the top end teams are all saying literally after that, I've had enough of this. This is getting really tedious now. I want a new game, so I just don't see a CoD 4 revive coming. But I mean, if as someone just said that Treyarch will put some money in for CoD 5, then maybe that could be an option, a viable option indeed.
What are the chances of the community shifting and, finding a new game coming out soon, or a game that has come out recently?
Well, if the game is screwed, then yeah, it's a high probability.
Oh, there's Battlefield 3 coming out. I don't know.
Bad Company 2 in next year, I think.
Rumored, and the much rumored Medal of Honor Anaconda.
I love the name.
Let's just say that they're doing some unique things in regards to multiplayer versus single player, and I think it's going. When I've kind of got some hints about it, it kind of made me say, "Wow." So got my fingers crossed. My personal vendetta with Medal of Honor has been their general manager slash executive producer, which is no longer with the franchise. So I'm hoping for better things from them, and an opportunity now to steal back all the Medal of Honor customers that were stolen by IW and Call of Duty.
I'm definitely going to get better at Guitar Hero.
Or Rock Band.
Again, if you guys want to go ahead and get your questions in, feel free to hit us up. The IRC channel is #/or #EFragTV on the Game Search Network. You can also text us. The number is on the screen. I'll go ahead and read it for you. It's 762-23-EFRAG. You can also call that line, but it's better if you text because we've got so many people on as it is.
This that Counter-Strike game called like Tactical Intervention for the PC, and it should be out by the end
of when? Am I lagging out?
No, I can hear you. I think Garajacks didn't hear you because everybody's vent is cutting their mics off and they can't tell that you haven't answered.
Yeah,
I'm not sure why Vent's doing that
by
today.
the end of the year, it should be out.
By the end of the year, okay.
Most people don't have push to talk. John, can I give you one?
Yeah, sure. Feel free. I mean, this is your show too.
I'll take the money then. No.
I'm sorry, never mind then.
Okay, X-Guju, and I know I'm going to get that wrong. CyberGS X-Guju is saying, has asked the question, have we thought about the international guys? There are a lot of guys who, I don't know if we've thought about the international repercussions, to be honest with you, about all this. But the guys in Europe would, obviously this will affect us as badly as here in North America, but I would have thought that your pings over there are not as bad as ours. I mean, I can imagine connecting to somebody who's a million miles away. I mean, what do the guys in the Euro region think about, the listen server concept?
I'm presuming that's to me, but I mean, yeah, I mean, on the our main sort of gaming forum, Tech9, the amount of disrupt and despair about this whole dedicated server and listen servers and stuff is unreal, and I don't think anyone's feeling it at all. I mean, even as you say, we might have slightly less of a problem with ping than you guys up in the States, but it will still be that the fact that the person that is hosting is going to have that much of an advantage that it just makes it impossible to be a viable option.
A dumb question though. If you think about it, the guy that creates, let me just see if I have the channel here. Yeah, the guy that creates the game, the guy that creates the match, if that guy was a neutral party, would that help?
I think that'd be almost impossible unless, for a fact that they're going to be doing that every time. And to find that person being neutral for a leader in every team, that's awfully hard to find.
Oh, doesn't that sound to you? Sorry, but hang on a second. Doesn't that sound to you though that we need an organization that would set itself up to be that neutral party with a really fast computer?
If you use Clanbase as an example, could you imagine the amount of let's call them admins, shall we? They'd have to have just to support this neutral party system. It just wouldn't be an option because. You think about how many games they run a day, it's probably a couple hundred. There's no way you can get that sort of manpower to do that.
Isn't that pretty much a LAN though? Except if it's a league, then it goes on longer than a couple weeknights or weekends.
But I mean, if I'm understanding what Rude Dog says, it means that just some person from a neutral area who isn't actually playing in the game, so in theory could be a referee, I suppose, as an example, would run the game. So then there's no person with a ping advantage. Well, if a ladder was to do that, for example, clan base, you'd just need so much manpower, it just wouldn't happen.
Yeah, that also comes into having a server that
can't run anything else.
Yeah, they'd have to have their own dedicated server. That's going to cost more money. I mean, it's a good idea. I don't see that happening anytime soon, though.
I don't know, I'm just sitting here and I don't know. I'm so depressed right now. It's like, what are we gonna do now?
The blade should go parallel to the veins, not perpendicular, John.
Okay, so that was my problem.
That's correct.
No wonder it wasn't working.
That's correct. If you do it perpendicular, you're just going to look like a fool in the emergency.
I guess ask community what they have planned, or this is only a few of us in here.
There's actually a COD 5 sort of rebellion going on now. There's the COD 5 channel been made, and people are quite enthusiastic about possible COD 5 competition.
Yeah, I know. We just put up a COD 5 server running the competitive mod. We got a sponsor for that, so.
Is the server title Boycott COD 6?
If it isn't now, it will be soon.
Well, John, I mean, like I said, you've got COD TV literally around the corner. COMMod is already up. I know the guys in the community, in the competitive community, are very, one-track minded kind of guys, and I know that they didn't like Call of Duty World at War. But we got some time. Sounds like we got some time until maybe enough pressure gets put onto IW to make it bend to our wills. I don't know. What do you think?
What do I think of actually playing World at War?
What I'm actually thinking is, why don't we try seeing if we can come up with some competitive, just pushing Call of Duty World at War and seeing if we can make it competitive. It is in COD 2 is a good idea.
We would
too.
have to have a.
Sorry, go ahead.
We'd have to have a lot of support for that. Actually, Numi, what channel was that you were talking about? What's the name of the channel?
It's pound invite scrim COD 5. Pound invite scrim COD 5.
Why don't you go ahead and post that in IRC? And if anyone that actually wants to play Mod 5 competitively, now that Mod 2 is going to be a dump, go to that channel and let's actually see how many viewers we can get in there. So post that in pound defrag TV and pound bash and slash, please.
Maybe that would be a good indication of a revival for COD 5.
And again, Treyarch would be laughing.
I agree.
It'd be a maniacal laugh.
They would love
though.
this.
It'd be a maniacal laugh. That kind of thing.
It would be interesting if you could get Treyarch on board to do some sponsorship or to help out in some way.
I can't say anything. Maybe they can say something soon.
Geez, I wonder what people could be talking about.
I know this in the EU community. The pros go where the money is, and wherever the pros go, they're the ones that aspire to be there follow. So I mean,
but it's catch.
But word to put money in COD 5 then.
But it's catch-22. The money goes where the people are.
Yeah, but if there's people nowhere, nobody's going nowhere.
Well, this is why God invented Twitter.
And we should advertise that anyone voicing their concerns should use the hashtag MW2.
Wow, this channel just went from like 10 people to 50. So we've got a few people watching. Make that 60.
John, can you put that link in the chat room? In the Ventrilo chat, can you put that link there so I can put it in my chat?
Yeah, I certainly can. Give me 1 second.
And also, I just wanted to say hello to Chimpe, who just logged on. I'm a big fan as well, so hello, Chimpe.
My comment for the channel. I mean, that channel really isn't designed for this, but hey, it's a good starting point for now. You can also post your objections on that link on the Infinity Ward site. I mean, the more people we have there,
did you post
more
that, by the
possibility of
way?
actually having people look at it.
John, did you post that?
I put it in my channel. No, I didn't. That was Trigger Happy back during... yeah, I think it was at the end of your cast he did that.
Trigger Pappy.
Pappy, I'm sorry.
I just received a message from another COD 4 EU player, Spanky, saying COD 4 will die regardless, so most people will move to CSS or another game. COD 5 wasn't received well in the EU, so COD 2 Combat could be on the cards. I could agree with that, I guess. I wouldn't really fancy the whole move to CSS thing, because that's already like a 3-team game, but yeah, you might be right, Spanky.
You know, the main thing that COD 4 took away from COD 2 was the bolt-action rifles. And COD 5 brought that back, but I think there was a tweak in the hitboxes that messed that up, and the fact that people just flat out didn't really appreciate Treyarch's work.
I have not. I have to admit, I'm embarrassed to say I haven't really played ComMod a lot. If anybody on here has in the chat room or anywhere else, can you let us know if that still exists?
The competition mod, I'm pretty sure
it's... but I haven't played it in over probably about 4 or 5 months.
I'm pretty sure that's the mod that's on our server now, so I'll talk to Jim later on tonight and get you more info about that. I want to go ahead and welcome Primetime from Team Pandemic. How's it going, Justin?
Hey, not too bad. And not Team Pandemic COD 4.
He's one of the people that works behind the scenes to actually make it happen. Isn't that right?
I guess you could say that.
See, come on, I'm trying to give you props, dude. And just say yes.
Yes, I'm the best.
That's better, lap it up.
Got a question spamming in from Forsaken. I might as well read it out. How will this affect national teams that are very spread out? Will it be impossibly difficult to play with people who are further away due to P2P? What do you guys think? That's referring to the listen server in America.
I don't think we know yet. I mean, I think it's going to be...
You broke up again there, Jarrett.
Oh, sorry. God, my ping is 1808.
Oh, that's really weird.
Stop downloading Modern Warfare 2.
Shh, we're not supposed to tell people that. Come on. God.
Oh, there we go. I don't think we know. I mean, I don't see how they can fix it to make it for everyone for a long distance. I don't see. I mean, and we've seen that the anti-lag has never really worked. So what if they put in an artificial lag so that the guy hosting pseudo ping a 30, but you know what's that going to be like? How are they going to do that? And will it work? Or will their aiming and whatever move?
I mean, I don't think it'll work. I mean, no matter where the person is, whoever's hosting is going to have a huge ping advantage. And like it was suggested earlier that like you have SIVO admins or someone else host it to make it fair, because that way the admin wouldn't have to play. I mean, that still wouldn't work. You don't have enough admins to actually support that kind of expansion. So
Yeah,
I'm not sure
you
how
get enough admins to sit in a game once in a while. There's no way you get enough
unless they're accused of cheating or it's finals. Well, I just got a shout out. We should also try COD 2 again. I mean, what's the matter with COD 4? Well, I mean, why don't we just do some more seasons of COD 4? It was suggested earlier that we do, to change things up, we can do a custom map season of COD 4 where we play all custom maps. And I mean, that's never been tried. What would you guys think about that?
Where would the support come from for that sort of thing, though?
SIVO or the Cyber Sports League or some league. I mean, if Mod 2 doesn't work out, they're going to be looking for something to do as well. So you might as well hand it to them.
Custom maps is a really interesting idea, actually. It's, as you said, it's never been tried. I've played on a couple of custom maps that I've really liked and actually are better than some of the maps that we've been playing in our rotation.
Some of the problems, though, with custom maps in you know leagues is people will find glitches or exploits that the developer either won't fix or he just calls that his final version, and they'll use that to their advantage.
Well, not unless you don't play a map unless the mapper is willing to make changes to it.
There's glitches on official maps though in Call of Duty when you think about it. I mean, as soon as they're found out by a good few people, they're noted, and as soon as you use them, you get let's for example disqualified or whatever. I mean, backlot. You look at the bloody lamp bugs all in that bloody house. It's absolutely ridiculous. But because so many people picked up on it, as soon as you use it and caught using it, you get disqualified for that game, and that's how it'll probably be on custom maps, I'd imagine, with glitches. If the mapper can't be arsed changing it.
Another thing here, this is kind of going back. This is from Grip. He says, is there any way that Activision is now Activision Blizzard? Is that because for this P2P thingy, since every game Blizzard have made it, as I can think of, haven't required the player to take action to host the server? What?
I think he's saying that is Blizzard having any influence on IW's decision to go to a peer-to-peer type hosting instead of a dedicated? And personally, I don't think so. I think this is what IW wants. This is just again another step in what they think is the right direction. Per their mystical PC player, this is the ultimate setup for them.
If Blizzard were to have a say in it, surely it would have the adverse effect anyway, because if anything, they support the whole global service.
My name is Jelena Ptiček, and I refinish old furniture. I work with a lot of delicate antiques, and I find that Greenworks products are gentle and effective to use on old finished wood. I use it in my household for everyday kind of dirt and extended it to my business. It allows me to really tackle any kind of dirt. By using natural products, I feel like I'm contributing to the world in a really positive way.
Everyone on their sort of thing, not P2P. So I don't think that would affect the game outcome at all, to be honest.
And also remember, this is a Saturday. It'll be interesting to see what happens when the bigwigs powwow over the weekend, and if we get some type of official response to the uproar. Also, can anyone confirm that they cannot register on the IW forums? Another website has...
The problem to that, I figured that out earlier. The actual link they use inside the forums, like down in the body of the page, is not the right link. You need to use the register button on the top banner bar, and that will take you to the correct page.
Ah, great. I will pass that along. Thank you.
Another thing it looks like is on that particular petition on that forum, it looks like they're backlogged because some of the time when you refresh it is, a couple hours old, so... It looks like there's more posts coming that you can get before you refresh.
Because we're at what now? 893? 893.
Oh, yeah, that's even better.
I mean, I did the math earlier, and I think for IW to lose $1 million, you'd have to have 16 some odd thousand people say they were going to cancel it. Yeah, 16,666.
Also,
so that's how many
keep in mind that
occurring.
Right. Keep in mind, John, that a lot of myself included, I've shied away from the IW forums for a long time just because of the attitude between the consoles and some of the PCers and fighting back and forth. There's a lot of people in the community that will refuse to go over there, so they're upset. They probably canceled their order. They're probably just not posting over the IW forums.
I mean, we need to let IW know in any way, shape, or form. So even if you did cancel your pre-order, I mean, that's one way. We need to make sure we actually tell them, on their forums.
Yeah, it's a good thing to let your friends, maybe on Xfire, IRC, know as well. I know a few people have Xfired me today. Have no idea what's going on, and this is news. That's been out since Jock did his interview this morning.
Do you really think though that them getting the word and having the PC guys coming out and overwhelmingly say no, this is not good, is that going to help anything in the short term, or do you think that this is going to help us on the next game? I don't know if anybody.
No.
I think the short term is out of the question now. Whether they're, after Monday, what they see, maybe that'll change your mind for the future.
I think this will have an impact. No, go ahead, Garrett.
I said it's got to be gold like day now to press. So yeah, I agree with you, Rudog. I mean, we're looking at first patch.
I think a thing that will be interesting to see is if this is a flop for the PC community or for IW in regards to the PC community, sales tank, and if luck is on our side, Treyarch comes out with the next version of World at War or whatever they're going to call their version, and they have dedicated servers in there, and they see an increase in PC sales. That's the only way they're going to see that, hey, if we put the dedicated servers in there, if we kind of, give what the PC customers want and need, we'll sell more boxes. I think that's going to be a big, unfortunately we'll have to wait 2 more years for Treyarch to release something, or a year before Treyarch releases something.
John?
Can I just quickly say, if you look in invite stream COD 5 now, I'm going to put the info up for eFrag's COD 5 server. If you want to play some of that now, just to test that out. Sorry about that.
I'm sorry, what were you asking, Jock?
I just have a quickie from Souls here, if you don't mind giving you a question from someone in my IRC.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
don't hesitate, dude.
So Souls said or asked, did they have, the IW, have any detailed indication as to why they think this is such a great idea, that is, not to release dedicated server files? All I heard was that they thought the server admin's job was too difficult. I mean, that's what Rob, if you recall, that's what he said. I like the challenge. That's the reason I help run a community. Many others like to join dedicated servers and play on it to enjoy it, not to be shafted by IW, is what he says. The reason that they gave, I mean, you have to be careful. In my opinion, I'll let the guys who heard Rob say this put in their own 2 cents, but you have to be careful what the community manager says. I guess I think on the spot he came up with a really good answer. He's going to save you the hassle of kicking the a-holes in the server, and I've been running a server myself lately, and I need some help as well, but I don't know if this is the solution I would have chosen. But that was his decision. I think it personally. I think we sort of answered this a little earlier. I think number one, it was for anti-piracy. Number two, I think it was because Activision IW can control their intellectual property a little bit better if they do it this way. I don't know if the other guys have any take on that. Why did they not release the dedicated server files?
No, I think you hit it right on the head. That's probably the real reason. Rob also kind of mentioned that they thought that the PC user really wanted an easy way into a server, and the current way is too complicated for the average PC user, so it puts them off. That's what I got out of the public reason why. I don't take that, and I urge everyone to take that with a grain of salt.
The PC users have been using dedicated servers for 10 years. I mean, they're spending a lot of money and a lot of time to set them. I bet you it's more money than they do, piracy or anything else. There's got to be an angle. There's got to be money made to, or they wouldn't do it.
Again, the amount of... sorry.
Go ahead, Verdo.
Again, I had posted this a couple places. If you look at what a license cost them for, say, Punkbuster alone, then what it cost them to subcontract Ryan Incubus out to port to the Linux dedicated binaries, the additional engineers to support dedicated server files just for that particular part of the game. They take that money, they dump it back into this so-called IWNet, that their game is the only game that's going to use it, which I find hard to believe that they're going to spend all this money just for their one lone game and not all Activision games. This is a way out. That this is just a way for them to save money on the next title so they don't have to develop for PC.
And does it also not open a huge door for this whole global dedicated servers of their own, which they can then make more money off by selling out using this IWNet?
But you know what? They're not, don't you see, I can't see them, you'd think that would be something that if Microsoft ever took another stab and made a PC version of Xbox Live, IW isn't afraid of that or doesn't think they're going to do it.
That's also another good point. Why didn't they just use Windows Live? Yeah. I think Microsoft would have been ecstatic and would have paid them a lot of money to try to develop some type of integration into a more Xbox Live-ish type front-end limited than what Windows Live has, and then just utilize that for other games. Again, I can't see, I just can't fathom them developing this IWNet solely for this one game.
And they didn't have.
But then again, that could be our extra $10.
But they had DK5. They would have to hire a whole staff to do this. And again, releasing it around the world, servers around the world, not just running a GSP in the United States, is a big undertaking.
I'm really interested to see how well. Say this was the best thing since sliced bread, and we're just not seeing IW's vision, and this is the way to go. And dedicated servers were always wrong. For some reason, I just don't think that IW has the capability of kicking this off worldwide on day one. This is going to be a mess, probably for the first month, first 30 days, easy.
Well, like I said, they couldn't handle their web server when their new version of the forum came out. So remember, and
to be honest, I think that delaying the PC SKU 2 weeks would have been a good move on their part. It would have at least allowed their short-staffed coders some time to move into the PC SKU, because we know there's going to be problems, let's say, with the console SKU. Now we're going to be second rate if anything goes down on the console side of things. That would be something that I think would have made a delayed release, I think, actually a positive rather than a negative for us.
It will be interesting to see how well IW supports this PC version. One seemed to be very dedicated to the PC gamer this time with this golden egg, shall we say. So it'll really be interesting to see what type of support the next 2 to 4 weeks is versus the consoles and whatnot. GameStop or for whatever platform, it'll be interesting to see if they actually focus on that, be it the PC or the console or the PS3.
If you guys want to get your text messages in, feel free. The phone number is on the screen. You can also, we'd rather you text at this point because it's going to be a little bit laggy. We have one from Ohio. Rob seemed to be excited to announce the world that they had just invented the LAN for the PC. He should have just done that 15 years ago. I'm not sure what exactly he means there. Any input on that?
If the person that sent that in is kind of comparing, we'll drop back down to listening servers. I think it was last year that Activision had their conference call and they just discovered that multiplayer was the way to go. Activision is probably not on the cutting edge of technology, shall we say, of what their customers want.
So, all right, we have a phone call. This is Logan from Pennsylvania. How's it going, Logan?
It's fine.
So what was your question? You're on the air.
My question was, why are they trying to kill PC and basically only going to console gaming?
From a money standpoint of view, we're only 10% of their entire sales, so they really could care less about us. So that's why we need to kind of fight back and protest this a little bit. Thanks for the call.
All right. Well,
if you guys want to get your questions in, hit us up on IRC as well. On the Game Search Network, you can join pound // or pound defrag TV. We'll try to get your questions in there. Jock, do you have any more on your end?
I had a comment from a Rob Wheezy. It says they don't care about tradition, like you guys were saying. COD 4 started on PC. COD 4 was made on PC.
Realistically, that's all good and well. And hey, I was there in the early days. I think most of us were. To them, that's past. They're not making any more money off of that. Realistically, they need to look at the return on investment. They spend Xbox and the PS3. They spend way too much money on development, and they need to recoup that. When they get that large, the easy buck right now is the console platform. They can sell that, and that's what they're going to be focused on. Unfortunately, my argument was a couple months ago, if we're such a pain in the ass, if piracy is such a big deal, why do they even bother selling the PC version? They make money on us. It's just we're a lot older than the average customer, so we complain.
Well, I mean, if they would stop selling for PC, that would be the end of a lot of companies. Like someone said earlier about the video cards. Video cards are made just for the PC, and you're right. They can definitely make an easy buck off the consoles. Console people will buy anything, isn't that right, people?
Oh, they can get their parents to buy it.
Proved.
Oh, it's new and shiny. I want it.
Frag, who teaches me lessons in Modern Warfare every night here, IM me. He says, if Infinity Ward does come around and give PC gamers what we want, do we really want to support a company that is clearly treating PC customers as second-rate customers? I'll start off first by just saying that I think most gaming companies out there right now are probably going to treat PCs and PC gamers as second rate, if you want to look at it that way, I suppose. At least in North America. You stop, Garrett Jacks. I'll turn it to Garrett Jacks when I'm finished, but if you take a look at all these mainstream companies, except for Valve, have been doing that. Go, Garrett Jacks.
No, I agree with you, but that's why Valve is Valve. Rude Dog posts on his site every time Valve has yet another millionth update. They're still updating. I've never been a heavy CS player, but the game's 10 years old. Still patching it and still making it better. And Valve is really the PC gaming company. In the last TF2 patch had 5 or 6 things that were community requested.
So what do you? I definitely agree there. Valve, they've constantly over the past 10 years, like you said, have shown support for Steam or for their games. If IW is sending Mod 2 to them, does that mean that they're actually going to? Valve isn't actually making the game, so but we're still using the Steam network. Is that going to mean that they're going to try to force updates if we stop playing on them? Because that's kind of something they're going to want, is more people to play on their network.
I really think it's still going to be in the hands of IW. Valve is just being contracted to distribute the game over their networks. I really think Valve embarrasses a lot of developers with what they do. Valve is proven that the PC platform is still profitable and very profitable. Valve doesn't have the overhead, doesn't have the enormous teams, and they keep pushing out quality products, and they patch them. Granted, the genres and the overall look and feel, does not interest me personally, but their support and communications impresses the hell out of me.
And like you said, IW does one game. Valve is, 10 games? And it's constantly patching all of them.
On top of the Steam network.
Yeah.
And they find time to fly halfway across the world to meet up with prominent modders in the community.
In Australia. I saw that. That was...
All right, we actually have a phone call here. Let me pull that up real fast. All right, we have Scott from California. How's it going, Scott?
Hey, what's up,
You're on the air,
guys? I've got quite a few questions. I don't know if I'll be able to get them in all at once. Where do I start? Okay, I'll start with what I was telling the guy who answered the phone. Is it true that with Steam it lowers piracy because it is online? I was always under the impression that when you make something online, it lowers piracy. Like consoles seem to always be online. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I'll let you guys take that. You guys are the coders.
there's, Steam does deter piracy probably better than what IW has currently. However, just like anything, there's ways around it. The copy protection with consoles is not because it's online. It has more to do with the firmware within the box. I think Valve and the Steam platform is probably a little bit better than what IW has. It's not perfect.
My next question is, I guess this isn't easily answered because, unfortunately, as I was told, PC gamers only represent what seems like 10% of the market. But this is the really, I guess, the ire of it all is they make PC games. They do a ton of stuff on the PC, whether it be games, programming, applications, whatever. And the console's just one of those things that you just want to play, to me at least, just play on the couch with a few friends. The PC is just there's so much more in depth to it. And when I see a company that I thought Infinity Ward would not screw up on this personally. They were the last company that I was thinking I was going to do this. And then they say there's not going to be dedicated server files. I can say some words right now, but I can't, so, it's just, I'm sure many people are in the same boat as me. And I speak on many PC gamers that are just frustrated with the way that the game is going, not just because of today, but because of the lack of information. I mean, where is it going to end? When are we going to start getting support? You know what I'm saying?
And I think he hit it. He nailed it. It's the lack of communications. If they were upfront with us a long time ago, I think we would have been able to. Let's look at this. If they announced this 6 to 9 months ago, people would have been pissed. But now they have a large opportunity to talk to show us what they're trying to do, and to convince us why this is better. Right now, it's 24 days. They haven't gone gold yet. They haven't given out the minimum system specs. And all of a sudden they throw this on us, and it was almost like that we had their backs up against the wall. They had to tell us. And if we weren't raising a ruckus as it was, we still probably wouldn't have known. Again, I think it's the big thing is with the video game industry, it's the lack of communication, the lack of respect they have for, and I apologize to consoles, it seems like we're more the educated customer, the PC customer who's a lot older.
It's true, though.
Exactly. That's the issue.
And the one thing is, though, what was I going to say? I forgot. Go on with what you were saying. I forgot what I was going to say. I'll bring it up again.
Not a problem. It's just, and this is something that, you can Jock, it's my pet peeve, with all the community managers so far, with the exception of Black Hat on the EA side of things, lack of communications. I think we're all grown-ups. We all can take the good and the bad. Just tell us the bad, at the beginning. This is not, they're a bunch of politicians. Right. And they're manipulating the system to try to tell us at the last minute so they can kind of trick us, the uneducated people, to buy this game at the last minute.
This is what I don't get, though, man, is that, communication is the key to success in almost every case. If you don't even tell your customers that your product's going to be bad, but you need to tell them something. And I think that even though he told us in October, he could have told us so long ago, and I'm really frustrated that, they decided to do this, because I personally think, as probably many others with me, that think that this will not only not fix the piracy problem, I think it will elevate it. I think there's so many people that aren't going to buy it now because there's not going to be dedicated servers. I think it'll be through the roof. That's just my opinion. What do you guys think?
I agree 100%.
Yeah, I think that'll happen too, because I think some people are still going to be curious to see what the game is like, and how it works, and they still want to play it because of they've seen the videos and whatnot, but they're not going to pay $60 to go play a game that they're going to get a horrible ping in for a pub. It's just they're going to probably buy it, or pirate it, and then play it for a couple of days and then call it quits.
Well, yeah, $60 for a.
All right, and one of my last questions, a few others. I know this is mainly a Call of Duty podcast. I'm not sure if you guys cover other games, but do you guys foresee other developers doing the same thing? I help run a Battlefield community, and I do run COD as well, just not as big. do you foresee DICE doing the same thing that Infinity Ward just pulled on us? Or any other developers, for that matter?
I think they're probably watching Infinity Ward. If in Infinity Ward, for some strange reason, this becomes successful for them, and it could be a good or bad way, it could get the PC community out of the picture, or they could bomb and it could be a big, disaster for them. I bet, Infinity Ward is respected throughout the other developers and publishers. Everyone wants to be like them. Everyone wants to have that Call of Duty hit. So they're going to be watching them, and I hope that they take heed from the outcry of the competitor movement, from the pubs, from the guys that are just running dedicated servers for a bunch of friends. I really hope that these other companies are looking at the whole picture.
That was quite the portfolio review.
Come on. What are we going to do?
Maybe we should look at something different this year.
Maybe...
There must be other options.
Hmm?
What do you think?
Good time for a second opinion.
Yeah. Really good time.
Get a second opinion on your investments. A free, no-obligation way to explore your options and make sure you're investing in what's right for you. You're richer than you think. Scotiabank.
Right.
And to IW and Valve, I think DICE is probably somewhat up there as far as a decent developer, a well-respected.
Oh, and last thing, it's more of a comment than a question, but I just wanted to give a huge shout-out to all you guys that have, especially the guys in the podcast, and I've seen your forum, Brewdog, there for years. I used to go to it for, server admins. I really appreciate the work you've put into this. I really appreciate all your guys' efforts. Without you, we wouldn't be where we are today. And I just wanted to thank you for keeping the PC community alive, and I appreciate it greatly. Oh, and last question, sorry. How do I get in on your podcast? Because I got a lot more.
Are you in Vent? Are you on
I can be.
IRC?
Yes, I am. My name's Souls. Two Z's.
I will post you the info in just a moment.
Souls, the answer is
Thanks,
money.
Sonny. Appreciate the kind words.
The answer is money. That's how you get on.
Pour yourself.
All right, guys, I gotta go. I'll send that. Can you post me the info?
I posted in the main channel. My name is eFragTV John.
Oh, I'm not in the event right now.
No, I mean on IRC.
Is it on? Oh, okay. Okay, thanks. Bye.
Yep. Talk to you in a minute. Yeah, he definitely brought up some good points.
It's frustrating, and Jock knows that I get easily aggravated when it comes to the community. That's a very touchy point. My day job is in marketing. I'm a trade show manager. I'm out there with customers trying to market. Communications is something that the video game industry just does not understand.
Yeah.
Well, they can't force people. I mean, how many DX10 games did you play? I didn't even buy a DX10 card until like 2 years later. And I never went to Vista. So, yeah, exactly, because the performance hit. So if Microsoft couldn't push us, I mean, I don't know.
All right. What was the guy's name that just called? We have several people in vet now. Souls. Welcome to the show, Souls.
Hello.
We have Shavs from Pennsylvania. How's it going, Shavs?
Hey, how's it going?
Not too bad. You're on the air.
All right. Well, basically, since you got some developers on, I just wanted to ask how feasible it's going to be to add a dedicated server tool later on as a patch, maybe. Because a lot of, Half-Life games and just all the source games, they have like a separate dedicated server tool. So do you think that's going to be possible for CoD 6?
It's unknown. I mean, if they're using the same protocols as 4 and 5, maybe. Are you just talking about like X-Fire could tie into it or something?
What's that? Can you say it again?
Are you talking about so we could use a tool, use something like X-Fire to play dedicated servers?
Well, I'm just saying, like, there has to be some way they have for, clients to connect to whoever is the host. So maybe they can come up with, like, a dedicated server tool, which is just, like a 100 megabyte or something you download separately, and you can set up a dedicated server using that and then just have some way of clients connecting to it. And it shouldn't be so hard considering, they would have, like, a built-in way of having a client connect to a server. So down the road, maybe they can just release a dedicated tool just for, setting up a server, not just the main client version.
No, they could definitely do it. The question, are they going to do it?
Right. I don't think it's not something that the community could do.
I think that the only reasonable argument behind not doing a dedicated server already, for me, it is that they just didn't have time to do it. They just wanted to port everything they had from consoles and just go forward. So down the road, I think they might just do something like this. I'm not sure though.
I think that there's definitely a good chance if the outcry is big enough and the sales are not there. Unfortunately, it's a catch-22. If the people are not buying the game because it has no dedicated servers, then there's no reason for them to switch that bit on or to add that application. It would be ideal if the community could come up with something, but unfortunately, we need we need a master server to kind of capture all these boxes out there, and it's just not something I don't think the community could do. Who knows, though? Maybe the infrastructure's there, and like you said, they just didn't turn it on. There was a lot of things left out of COD 4 that was supposed to be in that they didn't have time.
Yeah, I mean, the technology is obviously already there. They already know how to do this because they've been doing it for the past, 10 years? So, I mean, it shouldn't be too hard to port that to COD 6. I don't know why they even didn't, if the only argument they have for not including this already is, just because they didn't have time to develop it, I really wouldn't buy that because, they've already done it for the last 10 years. There's no reason not to be able to do it again.
And we also got to understand that they're still using the COD tech engine. There has not been anything shown to us that they've revamped that engine or switched engine. So that underlying technology, like you said, is there.
I have to beg to differ there. I actually just found a video from 402 that said they completely redid the engine. So I will try to post that as soon as I can find that again.
But they've said that a lot of times, and I'll guarantee you on that box, I'm going to say it, Rudog, on that box there's going to say, technology licensed from id, because it's the Quake 3 engine, highly modified, but there's enough of the Quake 3 engine that they got to put that on the box, because it's still 80% Quake 3, if not more. The graphics engine is different.
Client, I doubt that, something as primitive as the connect command, I don't think that anything's changed. I think just the fact that users won't be able to connect to something other than, what the game wants them to connect to. That's the only difference. I think they've probably just taken the console out completely from what we can probably tell. Yeah. Console as in, the developer type console. That's what I'm talking about. Right. So
that's another interesting point. I'm wondering if that game console is going to be in there.
Well, if they are consoleizing it, that's what they would do is not even let the players add it.
Well, if that's the case, we're completely screwed then.